Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about The Night Agent. The Night Agent is Netflix's most recent series on the platform, and it is long. And I feel like we have not really had a 10 episode season of a show in one hit for quite a while, and you can definitely tell why in recent times they have started to move away from it. The Night Agent follows Peter Sutherland, an individual who answers the phone in the night action, which is supposed to be a secret line for the special agents when shit goes south. This show followed him being roped into a situation where corruption within the White House stemmed from the very top and attacks were going to take place. There were multiple different stories and arms within the show, so let's recap, break down, and explain all that there was to take away from the first season. So let's get into it. Here is The Night Agent ending explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. As we embarked on the final episode of this show, we saw that Peter Sutherland was heading to Camp David with Diane and Rose. Chelsea was heading there with Maddie as well. They discovered previously that there was going to be an attack on Omar Zadar. This was what the original attack on the metro 1 year ago was actually about. It was supposed to go off when the metro was further down the line and underneath the coffee shop that Omar Zadar was in, making it look like a non-deliberate assassination. So this time the president and Gordon Wick went for the same approach along with the president, so it didn't look like it was done to take out only Zadar. Zadar was the leader of the PIF and was an individual that people were going to like. The vice president didn't believe that he was a good person and felt he was a threat to the nation. However, Zadar had condemned the people that were acting extreme and using the PIF as their motive. So the president wanted to get him on his side, something which the vice president was strongly against. With the vice president going down to the bunker and preparing to be able to emerge as the president once the attack goes off, he allowed for his daughter Maddie to go up on the service level, where the attack and the explosion was going to take place, showing that he cared more for himself and his career than he did for the life of his own daughter. The same daughter who he blamed for his other daughter's death, when in reality it wasn't her fault at all, as she was only a young child at the time and should have been under his watch. Anyways, Peter Sutherland was able to get to the explosion and Chelsea was able to get Maddie out just in time before it exploded. However, there was a contingency explosion if the first one didn't take out the president, and instead he warned everybody that there was going to be going off in the helicopter. This resulted in the explosion actually going off after a tense back and forth convincing and then ultimately Peter being deemed a somewhat hero for his actions. Vice President was arrested and taken out of the office, following on from his involvement in the planning of the metro attack and the attack on Camp David. Diane Farr, the person who found herself being roped into it, didn't really want to be, was wounded in a face-off but ended up surviving, being arrested for her involvement in the attack, and also for leaking the personal documents of the night agents, which were Rose's aunt and uncle. Gordon Wick, one of the people that was the mastermind behind making it all happen, was never found. Maybe this could be something that gets explored in the next season of the show, the manhunt to find and to bring him to justice. Chelsea gathered the dream promotion and was appointed to be working alongside the President of the United States, something which we heard was her end goal. Maddie was going to be going off to travel, as she didn't need protection anymore following her father's situation. Peter, well, he was actually given a promotion. We saw that he didn't want public recognition of being a hero for saving the president, but he wanted to find out if his father was actually guilty for leaking documents, which contributed to security breach and him being arrested, which we find out that he actually did do. However, he was being recruited into being a double agent, but before he could, he was killed, giving Peter the answer to the question on if he was guilty and how he actually died. With the president wanting to do more for Peter to show her gratitude, we saw that she removed him from being behind the phone and promised him to actually being a night agent on the field, a position which he always wanted but was told to be never good enough for. He set off on a mission in the closing moments, which we didn't see, but it was considered top secret as it couldn't be viewed until outside of the US airspace. So I imagine if season 2 does come back, it will likely to pick up with our mission. Rose looking as though she is going off to California or after being able to get revenge on her uncle and aunt's killer and then bringing people that arranged it to justice. Happy ending relationship that it felt as though the show was alluding to didn't actually happen between Peter and Rose. Instead, they will see each other when they see each other. A non poetic way for the show to finish, but I imagine if there is a season 2, then Rose could most definitely return. Let's answer the couple of main questions from the show. Who took Maddie and who was Colin? One of the main things that we saw in the show when it was building to the climax was that Maddie was taken by somebody who authorities believed was called Mateo. He had been working with Paulo, the art professor, and ultimately ended up double crossing him in order to get Maddie, hold her hostage, and then get her to make her father admit to his involvement in the metro attack a year ago. However, Mateo wasn't actually what he said he was. His name was actually Colin Barley. Mateo was his twin brother who was killed a year ago. After the attack failed, Colin was supposed to be taken out by Gordon Wick, but instead they killed Mateo in the home that they shared. So in the act of revenge, Colin started leading his life as Mateo and took Maddie to get revenge and expose her father due to his innocent brother being killed. However, we saw that the team rescued Maddie and Colin ultimately ended up being killed as he tried to flee. It was a twist and I didn't expect, and I thought it was actually quite a good one. Overall review, thought this show wasn't actually that bad. It was pretty good. I find it to be quite long though. Would have much preferred if it was an 8-episode series. It's just more digestible runtime. However, in saying that, I don't really know what could have been cut out from it. I would say that out of a few agent style shows that Netflix has put out in the past few months, such as The Recruit and Treason, this one definitely has been the best. The characters are more fleshed out, and it had two main characters that you did actually root for. Eric was definitely one of my favorite characters in the show, and I was scared when he was killed, but it did round off his character arc in a way that suited him. It also allowed Chelsea to share her emotions and journey that she went on, with him providing a stark contrast to how she was behaving at the start of the season. Hongcha was very good in the show as Diane too. I didn't know what to expect from her because I have not seen her in this type of role before, but I thought she gave a convincing performance. I did find myself wanting to know what happened next from about 8 episodes onwards, so it did a good job in keeping me hooked. I also really liked the use of flashbacks at start of each episode too. It allowed the show to provide a bit more context to the characters' traits, behavior, and show us the reason as to why they were like what we saw them. As this show wasn't a waste of time, and at points it reminded me a bit of House of Cards. Obviously not as good, but I would say it's complement to the series for sure. It was an interesting premise of there being corruption at the top in the beginning, and it was almost like a Guess Who when it came to wondering who was leaking the info and working with outside sources. I'm a fan of this show, and whilst I won't watch it again, it was definitely an enjoyable ride. So there you have it, The Night Agent Ending Explained. And if you want to see more videos such as Ending Explained, theories, reviews of any series or shows, predictions, characters breakdowns, do comment down below, like this video, and don't forget to subscribe.